What's up, y'all? Happy Thursday. Jeffery and Jeffery TV, live on Memorex, default location, default route. Happy Thursday. My streak of working a full week at work, 5 days, a complete timesheet at the end of that week, will not happen again this week. I took yesterday off, and not only that, I took yesterday off. My streak, which I'm counting when I'm anticipating, this was supposed to be the first week that I was set because of scheduling and as such to work 5 full days, a full work week. But I took yesterday off. I was exhausted. And I'm blaming granddaughter. I'm blaming granddaughter. And blame might be not the right word, but I'm sure many of you understand. I spent 5 days at the undisclosed location at my mother's with my daughter, granddaughter, aunt, my sister popped by a bunch, et cetera, et cetera. We had a good time. We had such a good time that when granddaughter went back home, she was telling her grandmother, I want to go back to Grandy's. I want to go back to Grandy's tomorrow. And I'm thinking to myself, well, she ought to. My God. The performance and activities we had, because the secret is to keep her busy. The secret is to always have something for her to do. And we may be perpetuating or making it worse by doing that. But by constantly giving her something to do, may want her to depend on it or want something to do all the time. I mean, because between the amusement park, the swimming pool, going on the walks, and just all the stuff she had to do at a new residence with more of an audience, more people around, to where between my sister, my mother's sister, and her mother, maybe not so much, basically everything she did, she got a standing ovation. Her dress was so pretty, her hair was so pretty. Oh, look at her, she's so wonderful, blah, 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 on and on and on. Now, I admit, and I can say that for a 3-year-older, I don't want to say, use the word impressive, but she meets, put it crudely, the development. I'm satisfied with her development, to put it that way. I don't even know if development is the right word. I'm satisfied with where she at, what she doing, what she capable of, what we can tell her, you know, and stuff like that. Art. See, we got art here. See that? Can you see it? Probably see it better this way. Go walk backwards. See that? And here we got Sonic. Somebody hung Sonic up there. It don't look like they hung him by his head either. And of course, you got all this other stuff. Ooh, look like it was uh-oh. Something went down here. Something went down last night. Or whenever. Something went. They need to clean this up. Usually it's not this bad around here. They're letting this kind of build up. It's almost like the funding for that program may have run out, or the timing of it may have run out because they usually keep it policed. But anyway, so we really I had a good time, but it takes a lot of energy because I worked, I did my steps, as soon as I get off work, it's this, it's that, amusement park, beach. Oh, went to the beach. I forgot the beach part. She got to play in the sand and get buried in the sand. We just kept it moving for her. And that takes energy. And then Tuesday, when they went back, had to get up at 6 a.m. to get them to the airport. And I think I woke up at 4:30 or 4 and couldn't go back to sleep. I may have went back to sleep 15 minutes, but for some reason I was up and awake. So I had to get them up. Let me forget all the driving. Driving from driving from LA to the beach. From an undisclosed location to the beach. That was like 2 hours, hour and a half each way or something like that. And then driving to the airport. That's another like 2 hours. And then picking them up on that Thursday, picking them up last Thursday, loading everything up, blah, 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 blah. Then driving 2 hours and then working. Granted, I didn't work the full 8 hours, I worked 5 hours. And I did a lot. I put it in. And then yesterday, it all came down. Then after I put them on the airplane, Tuesday, drove home. I think it was like another hour ride from the airport to the default location because of traffic. Get home, get out, I get some steps. I think I still got 17,000 steps in that day. 16,000, 17. I get up, I do that, I work the whole work day. Woke up yesterday, I could do nothing. Woke up yesterday, mentally I was okay. My body was like, nope. My body was like, you know what? You take breaks every time your head or your mind was out of it. Remember? You was taking a day off every week for that. You taking one off today for me. And I had 16 hours, probably 14 hours of PTO after I factor in this and that. I couldn't do it. I had to take the 7F. I had to take it. I had to. I couldn't move. So I texted my supervisor, I'm not gonna make it today. I put my head is okay, my body is worn out. Cause I wanted to let it, cause I just got back from the 12 weeks. And I wanted to let her know that this isn't that. We're not gonna start that trend again. I feel pretty good mentally. And I kind of wanted to no, I didn't want to do it. No, I did kind of want to do it. I knew I was pointing towards it. I did not want to take the day off. But I could feel my body and my mind. And I had sinus pressure. It was leading to a headache. And when I get that kind of brings me down. Kind of brings my energy level down or whatever. So it was just, I was like, it's a wrap. I got to do it. I thought about it while I lay there. Then I said, I'm not going to make it today. I'm not going to be able to do it. And I took the day off and it felt good. Took the day off and felt good. Ate. Didn't get my steps, didn't even attempt to. smoke too many black and milds. That's one thing I was just thinking too when I was walking. Any adjustment, one adjustment that I really want to make is I want to put them things down. I do. I want to put them down and I don't want my weight to go up. I want to put them down even though I get something from it. And what I get from it is probably, it's a love-hate relationship. It's definitely a love-hate relationship. Because to have something to look forward to after work, you know, that's a thing for me to have, to anticipate something. You know, after work, I'm a blah, 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 blah. And just what it does, it's a love-hate relationship. But I wish I could put the black and milds down. Then I would be perfect. I just like to say, tongue-in-cheek, perfect. Because I'm already perfect. We all are. Because we all is what we're supposed to be. There is no ought to be's. There only is what you are, what we are, what is. So I'm out here today, and I woke up this morning, had the sinus. I still feel a little bit of it. Sinus pressure, little ringing in the back of my head, like muscle tension headache. So, but I woke up like at 6:30, 7 o'clock. I got up, threw a little bit of food in my stomach, basically ate as much as I've been eating at breakfast every day, which is like a 1/8 cup scoop of grits and a tiny piece of sausage. So I could take Tylenol, drink a little bit of water, etc. To try so I can lay there a couple hours, let the Tylenol, and I don't know if the sinus congestion, sinus headache, pressure pain medicine actually works. It's probably just more Tylenol. It's probably just more Tylenol. But it worked one time. So, and it worked for sure one time so good. I was like, oh, I got happy and excited. Because I'm not one to take medicine, especially if I think it's gonna become a regular occurrence. You know, I'd rather fix the problem than take something that alleviates me knowing about that alleviates the problem. I want the problem, you know, taken care of. So I never was one that wanted to start taking medicine and like, quote unquote, become dependent on medicine. So, I don't feel like not risking it. I don't feel like taking it. I think I'm a little bit early, so I'll take my time. Well, I'm not early. In fact, I left like 5-6 minutes later than I usually do. But I'll still get back, you know, well enough, with plenty of time. So I woke up, took that Tylenol and stuff, and I feel, you know, it's pretty much knocked out. I feeling pretty good. I'm feeling, you know, no pain, and probably can tell by the way I'm talking. I'm not like 100% enthused or whatever. I'm not like vibrating at my highest vibration, my highest frequency, but you know, I'm not dragging or anything, so that's good, I think. I think that's a good thing. Is that the college? Can I see that far from here? I never noticed that. I never noticed that. Here they go. Here come these people again. Here, move over. That's right. Both of y'all got to move. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So he
There you go. There you go. Now y'all do it. Now look, you see me coming, right? So you got to move over. You see me coming. You got to go single file. How you doing? There we go. Got to go single file earlier though. The first cats did it. The second people, they kind of group thinking. What do we do? They're gonna move. Slow down. They're already going so slow they probably can't maneuver. They slow down to do anything else, they probably fall. But I think they're starting to figure it out. What is that? Oh, that ain't me. That's my phone. I'm looking for my phone. It's at the end of this stick. Look, is that my phone ringing? No, my phone is at the end of this stick. You're looking at it. But, so, that's where we're at today. Granddaughter was out here, we had a good time. Looking back, we had a good time. She keep us moving, there's no doubt about that. She keep us moving. And from the time you go to bed, wake up, whatever, you know what's coming. You know what's gonna come. Grandfather, you know what's coming. What you doing then? She come in terrorizing me. And she go from room to room, go around the house, do this. Oh yeah, she had Play-Doh, and she had paint, and she had a game. I mean, she had it. She had it going on. There's no doubt about that. She had it going on. So she should have been, she ought to want to come back to Granny's house. Had all that attention and all those people at her disposal. But, and her grandmother, see the reason they came out, one of the reasons they came out, because her grandmother, my ex-wife, and her husband, the Cleveland Brown fan, they went to Costa Rica. In fact, they got swept out in the ocean. But you know, they were able to get back in. So I said she got swept out in the ocean. And then Joe went out there to get her and he got swept out. I guess he lost his wallet, this or that, or, you know, whatever. And they got swept out. And they had to get helped in, you know, by the people around them. Who was like laughing, I guess. And then as she was telling that story, she said that she had heard some 50-year-old man drown on the island. Because we heard that story before the story came out. She was down there on the other side of the island. They said, then they found out it was Malcolm Jamal Warner. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, at first I was like, you know, because I'm thinking the beach, and then we go to the beach, you know, and we just at Santa Monica Beach, whatever, Venice Beach, you know, and we let granddaughter play in the water. I mean, it's currents. I mean, you know, I'm like, I couldn't figure out how that happened, you know, because I know they can't swim. I know they can't swim, but I said, Malcolm Jamal Warner's probably in shape. He could, you know, capable. So what the heck? It must have been a hell of a current to get him. Something must be going on. They might need to issue warnings or close some beaches or something. It seems like it'd be happening a lot down there. But I think he was swimming with his 8-year-old daughter and they saved her. And wow, man, what kind of current is this going to, you know, get you? I'm thinking he able-bodied, you know what I mean? I think he can swim able-bodied, blah, 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 blah. You know, there gotta be some stories coming up. Talking about how did this happen? Why did this happen? But then, like I said, my ex-wife, and then went through the same thing. You know, and this was a couple of days before we heard about the Malcolm Jamal story. In Costa Rica. Other side of the island. But anyway, so she was in the pool, granddaughter went to the beach, You know, we walked Venice Beach. It ain't her first time doing that. Well, it might be the first time without the stroller. I think we went without the stroller. First time without the stroller. And just let her walk and do her thing, kind of getting less and less tethered, because her mother be like, oh man, oh man. And then, you know, we give her a little bit of space. Let her walk a little. Like at Castle Park, at the music park. Now things settled down. You know, she was able to, like, you know, get a little, stay a comfortable distance. And that comfortable distance is relative, you know, according to her mother. And, you know, you can't question that at all, because, you know, she's ultimately responsible. So whatever she said, I mean, basically, even if she ain't ultimately responsible, whatever she says goes. Whimsical, whatever. If she said at any given moment, for that child goes. You know, just, you can question it, but you have like no authority to even say anything. And I also know how, you know, the job she's doing, the responsibility, what it takes, that I would never step in the middle of that, because I'm like, you win. I'm like, you win. So that's where I'm at. Feel pretty good. Also feel, Mr. Scale told me 202.4 this morning, which is amazing. So then I had a day off yesterday, and I ate, but I didn't eat. I guess I didn't eat a lot. I don't know what's going on, and I didn't get my steps. I'm still only 202.4. So, but now I gotta hopefully do right today. If I can do right today and tomorrow, and maybe one day out of the weekend, I don't want to put all this back on. You know, I just don't want to balloon up. I feel, since taking the day off, you know, I feel pretty good. Having taken the day off, you know, I shouldn't be, not tired, but less fatigue, more energy. Need to have a recording session Saturday. I really do. Need to do some recording Saturday. Even if it's just me and Mark Lee. Just to get back into it, you know. I do. Instead of sitting around. Oh, the Steelers training camp started. Starts in earnest today. They get the pads next Tuesday. So, you know, with all the trades and acquisitions, roster adjustments that we made, I'm excited about my football team. I'm excited. Quarterback. And I just realized this through a podcast yesterday that we definitely upgraded our cornerbacks. We've got some dogs at cornerback. Even though it might only be for like 1 year. They may only have like 1 year, you know, like on their contracts, or they might be older and we might be looking to move on from them, but for next year, they're putting together a team. Not quite a super team, but in Pittsburgh Steeler history, in Pittsburgh Steeler protocol, they don't usually do this. They usually pull them up, you know, get them from the draft and develop them. And they've been pretty lucky and pretty good pulling them up from the draft. But I think the league has changed. You got to go out, spend some money, get free agents. You got to start targeting some known talent, proven talent, you know, that can come in and instantly contribute at a high level. Basically go out get some all pros, people with experience. So we'll see. So we'll see. Excited about that. And what else is there? Thursday. I'll get through the day. I feel pretty good. Today should go, smoothly. Friday, tonight, Noah Fisher and Family Hood and Experience is playing at the Mint. And I love when they do that down-tempo dub stuff. Improvised, spontaneous kind of groove with a band. I love when they do that. In fact, I was thinking I might need to tell Mr. Fisher, send Mr. Fisher all his recordings I got. They're Trulio, Disgracious, and Fishbone, and the Next Experience, et cetera, et cetera. Probably should put them on a Dropbox and say, hey man, download these files. Or I can just put them in one big zip file, huh? And have them download them. Something like that, because I don't want to, have all this stuff not see the light of day, and I'm thinking more and more about that. I'm more and more concerned about that. Not that I think my demise is imminent, just that I want to put something in place to ensure that I can rest and kind of relax and be assured that a lot of it is, pretty much ready to go or out there or exposed. Because that's the secret. You got to get it out there. You got to get it out there and let history and other people, et cetera, at least give them the opportunity to do something like that. At least give them the opportunity. Because without the zero opportunity, see if something happened, whatever, and it's locked up, because it is locked up and encrypted, definitely encrypted, locked up. Nobody getting in there without the passwords. And I gotta start building my instruction set to execute when my time comes. And some of it is out there already, but I can do it bit by bit, do it step by step, bit by bit, over the years to get the instruction set perfected. And you know what else too? I don't know if it's the older I get or if I'm going gray or whatever. It seems like my beard, if you can call it that, my facial hair seems like it's growing faster. My facial hair seems like it's been it's like I almost got a quote unquote shave every other day or every 2 days. Before it wasn't like that. And I say quote unquote shave because I don't really use a razor. I use the hair clippers. I never shave. Told this story recently, so I ain't gonna go through it again. Cause I was looking at myself today in the mirror, I'm like, oh my God. Already? But then it might have been a week. Cause my granddaughter said everything's a blur. It's a blur. But it was good. We had a good time. We really had a good time. And with my mother, we got her out, they got her up. They got her in the wheelchair. They got her outside, and I got video of granddaughter helping her, because that's all she wanted. She wanted, it kills her she can't interact with us and be out there with us. talk with us, because she can't hang speech-wise. You got to be able to get in there. One thing about granddaughter too, when we start talking loud, and not arguing, but you know how black people talk to each other sometimes. When we start doing that, she get right in there too. She's not put off by it. She's not put off. I don't think she understands that might be some anger and aggressiveness. She's not put off by it. She imitates what we doing. She want to get loud and get in there too. So, and she always talking and just loud. Just loud. It's like, ain't little girls supposed to be sugar and spice and everything nice? Shh. Shh. It's not that she's rough like a boy. She's not like rough like a boy. She's definitely a girl. She definitely got that, some stuff. Definitely feminine over all that. But just loud and rough. Well, maybe not rough, but ain't no sitting pretty, gentle talking or nothing. Even though she can. And I notice in her development that I'm always gauging. She knows how to talk. She knows how to adjust her talk. And one thing I really notice is when one of us asks her something, she'll say no. Before she would say nope, because she didn't know. She heard somebody say nope. We don't like that. You don't say nope to us. And then sometimes she'll say no. She'll say it with such aggression that it's like, I feel threatened by it. I take it personally. You don't talk to me that way. I mean, that's how I was raised. That's what I know. That's how I was raised. There's certain ways you talk to parents and grown-ups. Certain tones that you just don't do. So that's in me. But I actually hear her go, no. She takes that whatever off of it. You can just say no, but it's just, it's deliberate. It's not like asking a question. It's still no. You can still feel it like a solid no, but it wasn't. See, no. You should go no. That kind of got something on it. No. Well, I don't know how she say it, but she know how to do it. She know how to do it to where it's not as threatening to me that I get the point that she means no. So, I'm thrilled. I'm happy with her overall development and progress. And I'm not an expert, I don't know. There could be some stuff I'm missing, it could be this or that. But, she seems to be, I'm happy where she at. Without clarifying it right now, even for myself, so that I can understand it better. Not to even do that. Not so that I even know. But yeah, I see she capable of do this, do that. Like, go get this, go, all that. She better than all that. I mean, not better, but she, she can go get this, you can tell her to do stuff. And, I give her more and more responsibility. Little extras, especially if she was, little. Because, her mother and them, they just do it, a lot of it without thinking. It was the way they do it. Like, one of them was, she can get in the car by herself. Then I was like, because I walk out there like, come on, let's go. Ain't no holding her hand, ain't no picking her up. Like, come on, let's go. And I walk out, and she come walking behind me. Of course, it's, you get used to, come on now, come on. Keep coming. And she gets distracted by everything, because everything is new to her. Like I said before, all this is new to her, completely new and fascinating, and she's curious. And you almost can't blame her. But sometimes you got to go someplace. And on our part, or at least my part or whatever, should probably give her opportunities to do that, to let her outside, where we got time where she can play in the grass and figure this out, touch that, pick up rocks and, walk and look at stuff. And, it's just usually when that happens, it's, oh, we got to get to the store before blah, blah, blah. I'm going to the store, let's go. Yeah, but every now and then I catch myself and say, there's a moment, an opportunity where I let her linger or play. I'm not when she was young, like 1.5, 2 or something like that. Not like, not now. Now she know how to get in the car seat. Damn near put her buckle on. She knows how to put half the buckle on, the one other buckle, the one between her legs that like strapped down that way. That was kind of hard to do. It's even hard for us to do. And I'm like, can we loosen this? It's so tight, especially on the car seat that's in my car that was set for when she was like last year little. I don't think we ever adjusted it. So she'd be strapped in that one for sure. But, little things like that. But come on, let's go. And I was like, I think, go in, give me some grapes. Give me some grapes out the refrigerator. She'd turn around and take off. The refrigerator door open. One thing, she'd have to close the door when she's done. She stopped, closed the door. And what got me, she bought the whole bag. I thought she was gonna bring me like a couple or two. She bought the whole bag. I was like, okay. Because, you don't know how they think. You kind of think, you gotta remember, she never did this stuff before. So she bought the whole bag. And we sat there and we had grapes when I was in bed. Then we went to her grandmother's house. And we said something about grapes. And her grandmother said, where's she going? My daughter said, Dad taught her how to get grapes out of the refrigerator. And a lot of that too, I catch them. There's a lot of that stuff they don't want her to know yet. They don't want her to know how to open the door and go out. But they had to teach her, don't go outside unless somebody out there. Because you can see her, she could just barely grab the doorknob and she'd literally be hanging there. But she'd get it. She'd get her arm hand it around there and get that door open. I mean, the first time I saw her do it, she just did it. She barely grabbed the handle, opened the door. I was like, wow, so you can open the door now. All that is priceless. And I guess every now and then it hits me that that's my offspring. I had a lot to do with that. Now, one thing I do think about is that me and Terry had a lot to do with granddaughter. I guess I don't think about it with my own kids, that me and Terry, and I tell her it was all on her because I didn't really know what was going on. It was me and her relationship is all on her because I was oblivious. I just wasn't thinking that way. I didn't know how to. It just wasn't my thing. It was all on her. She picked me, and so granddaughter, the advent of granddaughter and grandsons is all on her. Because I was just, I didn't know what was going on back then. As far as that whole relationship and stuff and all that. So, where was I going with that? But yeah, I think that, that's my lineage. That I'm responsible for that to the degree that I'm responsible for her parents who had her. I guess me and Terry are responsible for her parents, for my kids, but I kind of don't think that way so much for whatever reason. I don't, because when you're in the battle, during the battle, like when you're in a battle, you don't think so much about the war. You just got your head down and you're, handling it, doing what you do. Plus I was so young back then. There wasn't too much space to breathe. Everything was pretty much consumed in what I got to do next. But now you get some space, you got a little bit of air, you got a bit of room and time to think and contemplate, and you go, oh, I had something to do with that. And I think, for whatever reason, I think more I got something to do with that about granddaughter than I do with my own kids. Because the kids was like maybe a duty or responsibility, where granddaughter might be an elective. The kids was a required course, built in, that's just the way it is. Get it done, handle it, blah, 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 blah. But you get some time between your kids and your grandkids to where you can develop your economic status, you develop, your position in life, understanding of life. You're a different person. Like my ex-wife said, now I got money, so I can take him to McDonald's, take granddaughter to McDonald's. She got money now that she can spend on that, and all the stuff she didn't get to do with Jeffery and Kimberly, she's able to do now. Because we were young and not struggling, but it was work, We was in the battle. It wasn't time to appreciate, I guess. And it'll be the same for my daughter. She'll see. She said, y'all just, and my daughter always bring up me buying toys for granddaughter. She said, never no toys at your house. And I thought about it wasn't. Because they was older. There wasn't no toys there. They had computer games and such. They had the computer games and stuff and this and that. But it wasn't like no toys. Because they was older. In fact, I found a picture of them playing with all the toys at a house, first house, the house me and my ex-wife was in, the house they were born in. I mean, the apartment that they came home and were born in Pasadena. I found an old picture, them playing with a bunch of toys in there. It even surprised me, I forgot. So she was like, look, she said, my daughter said, I knew mom was gonna, go crazy. And she said, she didn't expect me to be all into it, over granddaughter, this or that, this over granddaughter. And she saw me standing there buying all these toys for her. But all the toys I got were development toys, things I wanted her to learn, to experience. Like, one was a basketball hoop, it was kind of cheap, a little plastic basketball hoop. She played with it, so. One was like a kitchen sink. Not that I want her to be, domesticated, but something to do, to play with, to manipulate. And plus, but then again, people do gotta learn. Now I might not have got that for a boy. I'd have got them a workbench or something. I ain't completely woke or whatever, liberalized or whatever they call it nowadays. I mean, it's not like I ain't gonna be buying no boy no dress, like that, or I'm wearing pink or whatever. Be open-minded, no. But, I got the boy something, but basically what it was something they can, she could, at that young age, turn knobs, put this there, hold that there like the dollhouse. Where you gotta put the doll thing together, put the dolls in the house, in the bed, and set things up, and, things to manipulate and do. Like, she need this, this she can use. She played with this, she learned this. She learned that. Some stuff she played with, some stuff she don't. You know, you never know what they're gonna pick up on. But things that, you know, made her think. And you're there, you know. And not only you're there, her mother took apart and put everything together. You don't even got to do that. Her and her mother go through that. And her mother get the scissors out and get this, and they go through the whole thing and play with the putty and the goo and lip stuff and just, you know, mother play with all the toys. You can sit there and watch and just take pictures and video. Another thing too, it's kind of cool, you know, go back there, take all my cameras. So I got my room cameraed up. Shoot angles, you know, shoot her with me and her there. Got the microphone, I figured out how to get the microphone going right to pick up the room audio. So I was having problems with that for a while. Got that settled. What I do is I use the microphone on the wide angle camera, the camera number 1. I use the microphone on that. It seemed to pick up the room okay, because I was taking USB microphones and this and that and this and that, because the computer microphone wasn't getting it done. The computer microphone wasn't getting it done at all. Am I still recording? Had to tighten up the camera. It's kind of loose. Am I still recording? You know, so another thing too I was thinking, in NoGPT, please highlight this subject in conversation. NoGPT in the summary, please highlight this, what I'm about to say. See if that works. Again, I was thinking about how it's come down to where all I do on these things is talk about me, you know? It's all me talking about me. You know? I have no inclination to talk about too much anything else. And I can do an hour a day. Almost 5, 6, 7 days a week. Just talking about me. Every now and then I throw some Steelers stuff in there, some P-Funk stuff in there, but and that, let's just be real, it's basically how it relates to me. And this is something that I probably always wanted to do. I'm very much not upset that it has evolved to this. I'm probably proud that I do this. I'm probably proud that I can do this. Just make video after video after video, me talking about me. How much is there? How much content? How much is there enough to, I guess there's enough to keep the subject matter fresh and to keep going. You would think I'd run out of stuff after a while. You would think that I would grow weary or that I would need more. Nope, not at all. So NoGPT, please highlight this topic section, that how I make videos day after day of me talking about me only, how I feel, what I feel, etc., etc. I like it. It's Jeffery TV. I mean, that's the way I set it up, ain't it? My subjective experience. That's all. That's where I always wanted to go and be. And I didn't know probably I would take it to this degree. But this is what it's evolved to. Just me talk about me. In fact, NoGPT, call this section me talking about me. NoGPT summary, call it me talking about me. All right, let's see if that works. I wonder if that's gonna work when it transcribes and runs a summary. It's gonna be interesting to see if that does. Because, you know, I'm out here completely content. Just me. What's that about? And then to be able to have conversation, then to be able to have a conversation with nobody around, with nobody else involved. Now that part, to be able to express and to, it's almost like I'm having a conversation with myself. And quite frankly, overall, who better than to have a conversation with than yourself? I think, and I've always said that, you gotta have a good relationship with yourself. You gotta like yourself. You gotta be happy being by yourself first. I understand, in fact, I know people, a lot of people, my ex-wife might even be one, who just needs somebody around all the time. You know, they just want other people around. In fact, she said the only time she don't want people around is when she go to the bathroom and shower. Other than that, she wants somebody there. And she married the right person, because he's with that. And I look at it, I say, I could never be that. Oh my God, I could never be that. And I told her, because me and him cool, being a Cleveland Browns fan, I told him, I said, thank God there's people like you, because I couldn't do it. I'm not wired that way. Man, you can do some stuff that, I probably would not tolerate, or could not tolerate. Especially after 20, 30 years of living by myself. It's difficult for me to compromise. Hey, little rabbit. I ain't seen a rabbit around here in a long time. Hey, little rabbit. You see the rabbit? Hey, little rabbit. You're seeing squirrels all the time. So that's where I'm at. Me talk about me. That's all I do on these walks, and I love it. I'm building something, and I know I'm building something. And with YouTube, transcribing it, NoGPT, summarizing it, I'll figure out that there'll be something else next. I'll go to the next step to process this or summarize it and bring all these topics together. Or maybe even write a book. Tell the AI to write a book. If I could put all this stuff, ooh. I could take my old book, the first book I wrote, and stick it into ChatGPT and tell it to rewrite it. Ooh. 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 And I can do it section by section. I ain't got to put the whole thing in there. Ooh. Ooh. I might want to do that. I might really want to do that. That's exciting. I get home. I don't know if I'm having enough time, but I don't want to do it during work. Because I got copies of my book. And I got it in Word format and PDF and blah, blah, blah. I had to build it for the publisher. For the printer. I'm the publisher, self-publish. And to take it, ooh, let's go to a section in Word, pull it from Word, put it in Notepad to turn it into text, and put it in NoGPT or even ChatGPT. Put it in the big one, because NoGPT is kind of specialized as a summary. It doesn't do quite as much, but ChatGPT is more powerful. So, and I got 4.0 and I got an account, and I was paying for it, $20 a month. And I said, I don't need it no more. So now I'm paying $9.99 a month, $9.99 a month for NoGPT, because it integrates so well. It integrates so well with YouTube and summarizing my videos, and that I just went and paid now. I said, I'll pay. Instead of trying to figure this out, this is click, 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 I'll pay $10 a month to have this. And I use it every day. You know, every time I make a video, I use it. So, you know, every time I make a video, in fact, when I finish this, I'll upload it to YouTube while I'm walking. I got 5G reception. I'm recording it at 640 by 360, 500K BPS. So that's a small file. Our file might be less than 500 megabytes. And upload that in basically no time. I remember the days when we had 2400 baud modems. We had a modem. They had to connect through the phone. And then phones came out. They were able to do stuff. You could tether your laptop to the phone and this and that. But that was after 24K, 56K modem. I think 56K was the fastest we were able to get. I think we were 2400, 3800, and 56K. We thought we were smoking. Connect our internet connection. Woo. In fact, I ran a bulletin board system with that. And then we had modem cards. Modems built into the computers. Get a high-speed modem put in the computer. Modem card, PC card. Woo. We was smoking. Get hard drives and whatnot. We had our discs. Floppy disks and 3.5 inch diskettes. They held, I think, 3.6 megabytes per disk. Now we did get it. Now we're dealing 3.6 thousand megabytes. We're dealing in terabytes now, gigabytes. These gigabytes we just dealing with easy. Gigabytes is the standard now. My first hard drive my first computer I bought, first quote unquote real one, Tandy 1000, didn't even come with a hard drive. You load the programs with disks. It would like pull the information from disks. So you had to put a disk every time you load a program. Sometimes you had to put in more than one disk. I bought my first hard drive, 20 megabytes. 20 megabytes, $300. 20 megabytes, $300. And I was styling. Now for $300, you can get damn near get 20 terabytes. So the 20 bytes, you get 20 million bytes. 300 bucks, you can get 20. I think you can get 20 terabytes. I think they got a 20 terabyte drive out there for less than 300 external. And higher speed, faster everything. That's where we're at now. And I love it. It's almost like this was built for me. All this was built for me. When I first got that first crystal radio and I smelled those electronics of that, I was like, ooh. And the wires and how it worked. My father put it together for me. Oh my God. I remember the color of it. In fact, I Googled it, Remco. The look, the thing of it. And the first one I got was a blue one. And you had to wind the coil. I think my father had to wind the coil itself. And the other one, the second one I got, I don't know why I got that one. I don't know why they gave me that one. I was like way too old for it. But I think I made it, I did stuff with it. It had a coil already wrapped, pre-wrapped, and a plunger that went inside it for the tuner. The first one I had was actually, you had to wrap the coil around the tube, and then you actually slid a contact over those wires to tune it. And when I started studying crystal radios, that's how you learn how to study, how to build them, and go get the books on them. And I remember one of my favorite books, I went back and found it recently, like, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, whatever. I found that one book I used to always get from the library that I always wanted to build, a 1-tube regenerative radio. I never did. I was thinking about doing it now though. I was actually thinking about trying it now. But I really ain't got time. If anything, I got enough projects, but I would love to, try to go back and build one of those radios, soldering it and, doing all that. I never did when I was younger. Or I used to build a 1-tube amplifier, or even start, working with transistors, because I studied all that stuff. I was a electronic technician, I studied all that, but I never really, and I understand the concept, but I never really mastered it. I understood the concept, I knew how to fix stuff, I knew how to test to see if this was working, how it's working, but I never put a transistor to the test where I was one-on-one with it working, where I install it and see it do what it do, where I was like intimately one-on-one with it. And I kind of want to do that. Because I know what an emitter, a base, and a collector is, and how transistor opens and closes output, and that's how you get your amplification. It takes a small signal going in and opens and closes a larger output, so that's how you get amplification. See, I knew all that. A diode, hot diode, only lets current go in one direction. Resistor, how a resistor actually is it slows current flow, so you get the current that you want, and the impedance and the ohms and all that. See, I knew all that, so I knew how it all overall worked. And then 95, the electronic industry, started going south. I knew I had to get ready for it, so I started getting into computers, probably 92. Actually, you know what? I had a computer in the 80s. I had a computer in 82, 83, 84. I remember I had like a Timex Sinclair. You know, one of those like, you know, like kind of in the box computers. It was like a, you know, you hook it up to your screen and you do this and that. I had it, because I can remember having it when I was in Altadena. I don't know why. You know, it's just a basic computer, you know, do basic programming. But, so I had computers. And then, because I started working, I can't remember how it went, but I just remember I was living on Michigan with Marcy when I got my first Tandy 1000, when I got that Tandy 1000. So that had to be 92, 93. That had to be 92, 93. And then 95, 96, 95 is when, no, I had the bulletin board service at, 95. Nope. 92, 93 is when I moved to Azusa. And that's where I had the bulletin board service. In Azusa, I had it, 92, 93 is where I had the bulletin board service. And that means I had a computer that was able to connect to the internet, you know, dish out pages, people would call in, people would dial in, connect, you know, and check it out. So that was 92, 93. So by that time, 92, 93, I was on it. 92, 93, I was doing stuff, bulletin board, programming, whatever. And then that must have all went fast, because I remember the first time, and I think this was on Michigan, when I was at Marcy. I remember the first time I got Windows to work. I didn't understand what Windows was about. I had no idea what Windows was. What's the point? I'm like, what's the point? And then I ran Windows, and I had this like spreadsheet program. It was rudimentary. I think it ran in DOS or whatever, spreadsheet program. And I had it, and I ran it in Windows. So I was like, oh, what's the big deal? And then I ran it again somehow. I had 2 instances of the same program running in different windows. And that fucking blew my mind. That right there, that blew my mind. I figured that I remember that day. It makes me smile. I remember when I realized what Windows, this is what Windows does. You can have multiple windows. It was Windows 3.1, if it was that. And I loaded it on there. I'm like, what's the point? You know, what's the big deal? But then somehow I double-clicked something else, and I had 2 separate windows. So I said, oh, these are the same window? So I would type in one, and it didn't show up in the other one. I was like, oh my God. Do you know what you can do with this capability? That was Windows 3.1. I love this stuff so goddamn much. I do. And, you know, we kind of have our idealistic, you know, what we want to do in this industry, what we want to be. You know, if we could, you know, do exactly what we want to and have a career that you love, doing a role that you love, or a position that you love, I definitely wouldn't have picked help desk. You know, I would want to be probably a audio engineer or some kind of creative builder of web pages or something like that. But in saying that, I realized too that I don't like working on other people's stuff. I don't like working on other people's stuff, and I don't want to be responsible for working on other people's stuff. I don't want to be held to other people telling me what they want, how they want it, et cetera, et cetera. I just like working on my stuff the way I want it, how I want it. It's finished when I say it's finished. You know, it's up to me. I don't want to be beholden or responsible or whatever to someone else working on their project, getting paid to work on somebody else's project. So that's why I'm happy for the job that I have. I never would have, suggested that I be a help desk technician for a law firm. It's the best job I ever had. I like doing it. It's technical, it's challenging, and I leave it, when I punch out, it's done. I leave it there. Whatever they tell me to do, I'm gonna do. Whatever they say do, I'm gonna do. They tell me to lick the floors, I'm gonna say, wait a minute. Let me go brush my teeth, make sure my mouth is clean, so that I don't dirty up your floors with my nasty mouth. I'll be back. I like to tell that story, I made that up. I like to tell that. Let me go brush my teeth and wash my mouth out first before I get to licking your floors so I don't dirty them up. I'm gonna do anything. I said the job is priority. But when it's time to punch out, it's done. And I'm free to do whatever the hell I want to. And that's the stuff that I passion. Not that I don't passion my career. I passion my career. I may not passion my role, but I don't hate my role. There was a time when I kind of did. Kind of, if I'm capable of hating. This was a time where I was out of it and I didn't think I could do this anymore. And, I just wanted to be done with it, et cetera, et cetera. Or, wanted to figure it out. Ooh, this is not good. How did they even do this? How did they even get that going like that? So, see what they doing up here. What they doing up here? You see this? So, what was I gonna say? What was I talking? Oh yeah. So, the audio recording and the web pages and all the fun stuff that I do in my free time, I'm not necessarily sure I would want to get paid to do that. That's what I'm trying to say. All that, I don't think I necessarily want to get paid to do that for somebody else. I got it set up to where I do it for me, and I just do it for me, and I ain't got to be beholden to nobody else, and I can just do me. And I like that. Then come 5 o'clock or whatever time to get off work, I'm done. I'm done. Whew, okay. Had to catch my breath after that one. I don't know what that was. I don't know if you've seen it. But there be some stuff. I'm telling you, you gotta stay on your toes. There definitely be some stuff. You gotta be, not so much head on a swivel, but you gotta be, no, you don't gotta be, but it's nice to be aware and to be up and to be on it, It's nice to be not engaged with the environment, but maybe appreciative of it. Is that a good way to put it? Should be aware. Well, it's definitely good to be aware because you got to make sure you want to, be aware of what's going on around you. But what I meant was there's some entertainment or experience or this or that comes from not completely detaching yourself from the stuff around you, being aware of it. Because, I could put headphones on and just walk with my head down and not be aware or kind of shield myself from awareness of what's going on around me, but that's just not the way, I do it. I don't walk with music or listen to podcasts. I either want to hear myself think or hear the people and stuff around me, And it adds to the walk. And you kind of become, I ain't gonna say part of the community, but people out here start to recognize you. Either if it's fellow walkers, you say, hey, what's up? You start seeing people so much. And some of the people who live out here homeless, unhoused or whatever, recognize you. You walk by like every day for so often. You got to at least say hi to them. And then every now and then, there's some people out here trying to do something or get into something. You just got to be aware of all that also. So anyway, swinging on y'all 2 times. For me, for the funk. And for every elementary particle that has ever existed in any atom, in this or in any universe that ever was, is, or will be. The totality of it all, theory of universe. Hypothesis of all as one. See, that was one of the dudes I always kind of talk to. One. My name is Jeffery.